Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a sort of a discussion video and a bit of a first impressions. I've got a Civivi to share with you that's fairly recently available. This is the Civivi Riffle, but it occurs to me that I have quite a number of Civivis on the channel. And if you kind of looked at, let's look at all the budget knives or something that Kevin has done, or say everything $60 and under, I don't know, whatever rule you want to pick. But if you focused on budget knives on the channel, you would find a lot of Civivis. And I wanted to sort of think about that and reflect on why I tend to cover a lot of Civivis disproportionately, I would say, to other budget companies. And so I spent some time purposefully looking at different lineups. So I looked at the Civivi website and went through all their models, their new models coming up, their old ones from the past. I looked at a bunch of CRKTs and Kershaws and various other Buck and, Best Tech, even Artisan. And as I look through the other companies, there's part of this that is just extremely simple. I tend to like the Civivi models more. All right, there are a lot of simple, interesting designs that Civivi does that I find myself much more drawn to than the lineup from those other companies that I've listed. Like Kershaw, there's only one Kershaw this year that I'm really interested in getting, and that's the XL Highball. And and even then, because of my previous experience with Kershaw, I don't know if I should be that excited about it, or, I feel more apprehensive about checking it out, that I may be disappointed because I have been in the past where I haven't had, and we're moving on now, but let me begin by saying there are just a lot of models from Civivi that stand out to me. The Backlash is a favorite. The Elementum is another one that's great, and I'm really looking forward to the Elementum fixed blade for this year. The Praxis was great, large knife, really well done. I think that may have been the first Civivi that I had. Recently, I've had the Shredder, which is this knife right here, and the Dogma. The Shredder, by the way, is similar to the Backlash, but I like the design of it just a teeny bit better. What else has there been? Like the Insight, the Aquila, the Rustic Gent, the more traditional looking knife. Actually, here's another Civivi, the Fulcrum or Fraction or something like that. That's just cheaper slip joint. This one, there's only limited numbers available, although there's quite a few of them around, so it's not a problem to get your hands on one. And I think I'm probably forgetting some, but did I mention the Elementum? Because that one, oh yeah, I did, because I talked about the fixed blade. And now, of course, the Riffle. And so these are all designs that I just find attractive and interesting and appealing for just the design alone. But then if you move over to the other side of the equation, and that is the experience using, carrying, unboxing all of these knives, I've had a very good experience with Civivi. You get one out of the box, you usually find the action is very enjoyable. The fit and finish is really good. I just have had very positive experiences with the Civivis that I've had. In fact, I can't think back to, I think I had one Civivi that I can think of where the detent was a little strong, and I actually adjusted the the detent just slightly. But that's one out of like dozens and dozens that I've had. Where if I think about my experience with other companies, I've been repeatedly disappointed by CRKT, by Kershaw, by a number of others. So those two reasons. One, I tend to like the designs a little bit more, which that's a little bit subjective. Two, I've had very, very good experiences in terms of quality control and fit and finish. I just haven't had a lot of issues. Now, let's move on from that. So that's why, guys, it's not that I'm not paid by Civivi. I don't get any kickback or anything like that. I will say, if you're thinking of, in terms of what benefits me, if you're going to buy one of these, do it at White Mountain Knives using my discount code, or Southern Edge Knife Works, again, using my discount code. That does help the channel, not so much in monetary terms, but in terms of getting more knives. So that's a real thing, and that does help the channel. Now, let's move on and talk a little bit about this knife, because again, I think Civivi has done a really good job. I recently got this. I opened it up. I haven't done anything to it. Like, I didn't have to adjust it. I didn't have, like, the centering was good. It was sharp. All that stuff that you want to see from a knife right out of the box it has it. The only, I guess, minor disappointment is the micarta on this definitely feels like a slightly cheaper micarta. The texturing isn't as good as, something like the line steel Mito that I recently reviewed, but the price point is so different that it's a little bit expected. So let me give you a quick rundown on this knife here. We've got a micarta handle, which I do think is nice looking, and it is comfortable. It just feels a little G10y or plasticky, okay? But it's fine, and it looks really nice. At least I think it does. This I went with the brown. There are a few other options available. It is stainless steel liners, ceramic bearings, all the typical stuff. The blade is noteworthy. All right, we've got a nice stonewash finish on here. Now, if this was D2, I would be complaining about the stonewash, but this is 14C28N, which is fantastic. And I think these are like $55. So 14C28N is going to perform really well, better than I would suggest. In terms of edge retention, it's not better than D2, but it's more stainless and it's a little tougher. It's also going to perform better than the 9CR 18 MOV, or I guess very close. Both of these perform somewhere around the level of VG10 in terms of edge retention. 14C28N is going to have a little more toughness than both 9CR and VG10. So really great steel. In fact, one of probably my favorite budget steel, and even beyond budget knives, it's a favorite steel in general. I really like 14C28N. So that's the big story here. So we've got this 14C28N drop point blade with a flat grind and a stonewash finish, nice big opening hole. It is, of course, a liner lock on bearings with a flipper, micarta handle, and I'm trying to speed up through this part because we've already had a bit of a discussion. Micarta backspacer as well, integrated lanyard. You can see it's just a little, it's not quite flush, so not maybe one slight imperfection there, but doesn't affect performance in any way. So really nice knife. And that's been my experience with Civivi. There are very few times where I got a Civivi and was disappointed out of box. In fact, I can't think of a particular time. I guess maybe this knife, I have put a wrap on the handle on the, what is the name of this knife now? I can't even think. The plank. There we go. This is a fixed blade, and Civivi is coming out with some fixed blades. I'm pretty interested to see how that goes. Hopefully there'll be more 14C28N with those. That would be very welcome. Let me give you size and weight on this guy. This is 8 inches overall. So if you're like me and you like something a little larger, that's good. 3.5 inch blade and only 4.5 inch handle. So the blade to handle ratio is really nice. 3 5/8 inches of grip area. I have size large hands, and you can see this is pretty comfortable for me. If your hands were way bigger than mine, it might be a bit of an issue for you. And it weighs in at only 3.4 ounces, so nice and lightweight, very easy to carry. At least that's my initial thought. And I got to better point out one more thing that stands out when I look at this knife, and that is the flush screws on the deep carry clip. Always something very welcome. So what do I think of this? Yeah, it's a cool model. I like the look of it. Very capable EDC folder. I wouldn't call this like a tactical or hard use type of knife, but in terms of regular everyday cutting tasks, I think it's going to be another great offering from Civivi. So there you go. Let me know if you have a preference down below. What's your favorite sort of budget company? Where have you had the best luck? Are you like me, where all the Civivis you've had have just been very well done? Or perhaps there's another company that you look to sort of supply your budget knife stuff. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll talk to you soon.